Well, it's good to know you're observant. I unironically love the song that's playing. Just by the way, it's one of my childhood songs. Grew up with it. It's Hold Music by Architecture in Helsinki. And let's make sure there's no chaos happening. And let's hope I can be heard. We get to do the audio test. Because I can see my PNG moving. But I fear that is not very helpful. There we go. I can be heard. Apologies for the momentary echo that came from my phone. And I just turned that off, which was not the correct action to take, actually, because I need that to read what you guys are saying while I play Minecraft. Also, I figured out why my phone is so annoying when I'm reading chat. Once it reaches about 60%, it functions really badly, especially when it comes to like YouTube or Twitch or anything like that. It becomes really slow for processing internet things. How professional am I? The internet things. Did I spell professional wrong? Don't worry about it. I've had a long day. It's why I'm streaming at midnight. I was going to stream a bit earlier and I was just like, chaos. But yeah, let's get to Minecrafting. But I will throw it to you guys a bit here on whether you want me to do parkour, warm-up building, or warm-up fishing. I'll probably end up doing fishing anyway, because I like doing Minecraft fishing. But I have my creative contraptions world that I'm happy to warm up on, or parkour. I'm also happy to just fish. I'm really tempted to just fish. Parkour stresses me out and makes me say ludicrous things. But I'm not very good at it, so it's mostly just stressful. Building contraptions are cool. Alright, we'll try building some contraptions. A little thing. As is, should be obvious, I'm not good at redstone. When I'm struggling, try not to backseat too much. But we shall go into the building contraptions and such world. New screen. You're not good either? Yes, but see, I've seen some of the redstone you have done before. And it's more advanced than I can do. Okay. Let me know if the music is too loud or anything like that as well. Because my volume is going to be different to yours. My redstone testing world named after Mumbo Jumbo. My other inspiration is, of course, Tubbo, which is why I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to risk getting a copyright strike. What did I write on this? Oh, right. Edmundo. That was the name we decided on for the rat. You know what? That's a pretty good first time animal statue on Minecraft. You're not that good at building either? Yeah. I mean, the thing is, we can do a little build, we can do a little, you know, hold on. Sorry. Why am I going in there? Slash game rule. Nope. Game mode. Ugh. Oh, how do I put it on peaceful? The slimes are pissing me off. How do I... Chat? You understand most potions and you have a good relation to redstone, yeah. You're fighting till the bullshit? Look, the thing about living in Australia is that the ping on any sort of server you join is just shit. I can't hit anything when I'm playing against, like, doing PvP. And then I'm scared of all the mobs because I don't want to die. In settings, difficulty... I don't... What? It's not a command, but also, what settings are you talking about? Because I mean to change it during the game. I'm pretty sure there's a command. Top right, under options. So first of all, options is to the bottom left. And the only thing near it is give feedback, report bugs, open to LAN, and save and quit the title. You can't see my screen. I'm positive that there is a command for it. Okay. Oh, there. Yep, thank you. You made it sound like it was... Okay. You didn't say I had to click on it. You said top right under options. I'm not going to immediately go under as in under a tab list. I'm not... Presume I'm dumber. Yes, no more slimes. Oh, it feels so good. What should I try drawing? And so help me God if you say a rat, we already have one. / difficulty peaceful. I knew there was a command for it. And I'm sure there is a much easier way to destroy my inventory, I don't care. La 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 la, getting rid of all the items. I hope none of those were important. Also, why am I naked? Why the hell was I naked? Oh my god. There we go. Now I have my jacket on. Cat? You guys are gonna... I'm just gonna suck. Isn't it control then click the trash button? Probably. I mean, again, this is one of those situations where I just haven't done it a lot. I will try doing a mouse. Sorry, a cat, not a mouse. Let's start off with some white. Oh, God. Okay, so this is our rat. So I think I'm going to continue this trend of, for some reason, building on a diagonal. Oh my god. You know what, that's fine. For a second I thought my controls were wrong. But no, they're right. Is that... No, I need to make that longer. Doing the suffering. And then the next thing I need to think about is how tall it is. I can make it longer afterwards. A cat is definitely at least a head taller than a rat. Ah, yes, a cat. This is going to be painful. My thinking is I want to think about it like a 3D object. We'll get to the, like, widths of it in a second. Oh. Also, if you couldn't tell, no, I can't speed bridge. Okay, so this is about where I'm thinking I want the head to begin. And then about there, that's where I sort of want the neck to start. And in case you're wondering, this is how I construct things I draw as well. Really bizarre and convoluted way that isn't quite anatomically correct. But whatever. It's fine. Could make this a little more interesting. You thought I was making a box to decide the size? I am. My box just needs a bit of arm happening at the same time. because I don't know how to process the widths. Like, I'm not going to do the arms yet. I'm just deciding because I'm not doing it fully as a box. I never do things just as a box. Instead, I'm sort of beginning to construct a rectangle, angling where the arms are positioned and then where the legs will be positioned. Right now, this is a rather abstract cat. Now, I actually want this about a level lower for where the next part of the frame is. And then it gets higher. That's not there. So now we have our box beginning to show. And then we can begin to figure out what the tail will be doing. Are we beginning to see a cat form? Are we getting to understand the very strange logic I'm following? Yeah. God damn it. I can do this. I know how to play the game. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. Okay. I'm actually mostly worried about this head. But it will work itself out. And by that I mean, if it doesn't work itself out, I'll find a way. I want to say this is relaxing, but honestly I'm really worried that it's going to end up looking a bit like a whale. But that's why I need to put the legs in. Is now a good time to mention that I haven't really interacted with a cat that's been standing up for a while? It's not like I have no access to any cats, it's just that, it's just a really lazy hormonal cat that I mostly spend my time with at the moment. And no, that isn't me saying that the paw is backwards, it's me saying that the paw is going up. Like it's curled on the back of its foot. If that makes sense. I do know that the paw's typically at the front. I know how cat legs work. I know things. Just generally. But do I know how I did this 5 seconds ago? Yep. There's another leg. Now, you might be beginning to wonder, Arthur, did you perhaps make this cat not quite as long as it needs to be? That was intentional, I swear. I promise. That was always the plan. How I'm going to convey that that was intentional is by proving more that I know exactly how cats work. Oh my god. I think there's nothing worse than accidentally deleting a diagonal block. That's not the one that should be forward. Alright. No. this can be recovered. Why can't it be perfect on the first try? I'll pop it here then. And then I want the rear end to not be on the same angle as the front. Because usually when cats walk, if their right paw is forwards, their left, like, hind leg is also forwards. You know what I mean? I can't quite convey that without a picture, but I don't have one, I'm afraid. It just kind of happens that way. Oh, I could try doing a curled tail. Maybe I'll do that. Yes, that's almost what I want. I could have actually used that. Yeah, there we go. I don't want it to be like a perfect swirl, because cats don't really do that. But now we have the skeleton of the back of what I want this cat to be. Need enough that way. And now I'm doing sort of a rib cage. I know I said earlier that I wasn't doing anatomy, but it kind of is. But it's like really loose. I've never looked at a cat before anatomy. Although of course I have looked at a cat. I've looked at many cats before, I promise. A bit more shape there. If you can't tell, I'm really putting off doing the front of the cat. I'm gonna make a dinosaur. How old do you need to be to watch my streams? I'd be more comfortable with people who are above the age of 16. The age that's regulated on Twitch is 14, but you've been around a little bit, Reaper. You know that I don't always stay within the realms of being PG. I swear a bit. I talk about like sexuality and gender in a way that's not just labels. I like to actually really go into the body. And some people do find that uncomfortable, and some people have parents who regulate that. I'm not in favor of that per se, but I do understand why people would not advise my content to people who are under 16, if you know what I mean. You know that though, because you found me through Lobster. Some kind of biology. Yeah, I do alternative biology. But no, I do genuinely pay attention to biology a little bit. Not in the anatomical sense, but just in terms of understanding the correlation between assigned sex and gender and things like that. And then experimental fiction biology that you see in science fiction and in fan fiction these days with Embreg. And because it connects to like a pretty erotic space, even though I don't really consider it to be inherently erotic, we cover those topics, if that makes sense. So, yeah. And then also I just like the freedom to be an adult. I'm not trying to be a family-friendly entertainer. I don't want that pressure on me. So yeah. Alright. Okay. That one's forward, which means this one's going to be forward. You know what? I've just remembered something. That should be going down from the butt, because it's going to be stalking. I put questions in your mind which makes you overload at night. Like, how do they give birth in Mpreg? Well, that's actually a really complicated question because there's sort of the first rule of Mpreg is that there are no rules. And it really depends on the author. So Mpreg as a literary trope exists in multiple forms, and it always has. The first Omega that we see that is labeled as an Omega is Jensen Ackles. Not even the character he was playing, which was Dean Winchester in Supernatural. And that was actually in an incestuous fanfiction between him and his co-star. They aren't siblings in real life. They're siblings in the show. It's this whole thing. And I believe... I actually haven't checked whether or not that was a, like, quote-unquote natural birth. But there's actually whole people who talk about the anatomy of Mpreg within their world building. So, in some cases, I can't really sketch this out anywhere. I don't want to open Medibang and Minecraft at the same time. But in one place you have... Let me just get some colors. You might have... This is an Omega in someone's world, and this is an Omega in another's. Now, this Omega here has become pregnant, and the way that works is that they curate the anatomy within their world building so that insemination occurs through anal sex. And so not only can they impregnate someone through the anus and that it connects to a uterus, but it also comes out of the butt. And then this person B's Omegaverse, you have an Omega who's pregnant, and there's this same idea that the Omega has a uterus, and the Omega was inseminated via anal sex. However, doesn't have the ability to push out a baby, and so they'll have a C-section. A cesarean can be quite traumatic, but no one ever covers that in their Omegaverse because they're not there for that. And yeah, it really depends on what you're reading, how you found it, and whether or not you're sort of engaging with Mpreg as pregnancy or fetish. And these are all really complicated discussions to have because there is no consistent ruling. And it's the same with how lucid Omegas are when they're in their heat cycle. Which, if you're not familiar, Omegas in the Omegaverse have this thing where for a couple days, sometimes it's just one day, even the amount of time isn't consistent, where they are extremely horny and usually also extremely fertile. And they produce pheromones, which is like a special type of smell that attracts alphas. And in some situations, well, in some world-building scenarios, the alpha absolutely cannot resist. And then you end up in a story about consent, which is a different story to one about pregnancy, unless you are discussing the, choice and abortion. But I don't see abortion very, frequently. So heat. Yeah. It's based off, wolves that were observed in captivity. But they've been... that study has been quite bastardized by now. And I actually find it actually is way more similar to female cats when they're in heat. They are fucking weird. Okay, save. There's a frame there. But, yeah. It's a really interesting dynamic, the Omegaverse. Because it's not just Mpreg. You had a female cat that kept coming to you while in heat. Yeah. Female cats are... I think the worst thing is, so, for a period of time, my financial advisor, who is my older sibling, she had her cat, and she was living with my dad, who had another cat. Neither of them had been neutered or spayed. So they required constant attention. And the other thing is, my financial advisor's cat, she was much younger than the other one. And she was also just affectionate already. So she went from being mildly affectionate to all over everyone and shoes. She really liked rubbing herself on shoes. And the unfortunate thing about being in this situation was that the boy cat, also very hormonal and also very horny. And so there would be times where I had to literally pull one cat off the other, and then I'd have Aisha, who's the boy cat, he would try and hump my arm, which was just, he is such a special cat. And it stinks, by the way. That's what I learnt through these two cats and their hormonal cycles. Both of them are gross. When the cat is humping you, and the male cat penis is quite spiky as well. So I always made sure I had like quite a few things around my arm because I couldn't pull him off. That cat doesn't like me particularly. He's a really weird cat, and I can't stress that enough. I need this one to be back. Sorry, momentary distraction, don't mind me. But it's a very stinky smell, and they both had it. So I'd like spend time with one cat, have a shower because it was fucking gross. And by the way, it wasn't like messy or anything. It's like purely smell. But then I'd hang out with one cat, and then the next day I'd be with the other one, and Luddy, she'd be rubbing up against everything. Also a very weird smell. I don't like that I know what these things smell like, just by the way. But it gives me a very clear understanding of what pheromones are. Just in like what they would actually smell like, because in some Omegaverse stories, they don't tell you what pheromones smell like. It's just sort of an implied, there are pheromones and there's something. And then in other ones, they'll go to like really powerful efforts to define the smell as being like citrus or like pine trees, and like a sweeter, fruitier smell for omegas, and like a muskier, more natural, leathery smell for alphas. You never sensed pheromones? Lucky you, because I don't know what else that smell could have been. So my imagining for if I were to write an Omegaverse as like a serious piece of literature, I would be writing that like it's really indescribable, but I'd need to find a way to do that. And I'm not against doing that, by the way. I have this glorious idea of writing a book called Phantom Uterus. How would I describe the smell? Have you ever like really sniffed into a cat's fur, like right where the skin is? And it's that sort of like, the only thing I could compare it to is a mixture between that like really like natural animal fur smell and glycerin. Just pure glycerin syrup. You think it's sweet, it's not really. It has a sort of, it smells like it shouldn't have an odor. I'd put it that way. Because I've worked with glucose when making like candies and stuff, and it's never quite what I want to be smelling. But yeah, it's sort of somewhere between there. Those two things. I can't say I like those smells, because I don't, but that's sort of what it is. You already knew it smelled bad when I said glucose? Yeah. Yeah. Glucose, no one talks about enough how gross glucose smells. And taste, it doesn't taste good either. for the next one. Somehow your dad told me that in his childhood all his friends and he would eat bars of it. Ew. Ew. Just like plain glucose. Oh. That's upsetting to me. Tell your father I'm upset by that information. If you're still in contact with him. I don't want to presume. Ugh. Ew. Ew. I think sometimes I wonder if glycerin is particularly ruined for me because of the cats and their weird fucking heat cycles. I should also mention that while I'm familiar with what the cat smells like because he did it multiple times, and it would like not just be in the air, but it would permeate some of my clothes. I have a jacket that I can never wear again because I can just smell it, and it's like, ugh. But it wasn't the first time I actually had that experience of an animal going, you know what, I'm gonna hump you. Because it's happened with dogs multiple times. It's why I don't like dogs. Because dogs are quite a bit bigger. And when I was like quite young actually, I would have been about 9. I was meeting my dad's girlfriend, ex-girlfriend now, for the first time. Or maybe it was her father. And they had this big dog. And it tried to hump my leg. And I went, no, actually, I don't like that. Because people idolize dogs. People love dogs. And I'm just like, no, actually, no, I don't like that. That is, ew. And it's, people just let it happen. It wasn't until like my dad came out from like inside the house and he was like, ooh, yeah, don't like that. Don't like that at all. And then other than that, dogs are just overrated. I have multiple reasons. You don't like 90% of dogs? Yeah, I'm the same way. Because it's not like I think all dogs are inherently evil or anything. It's just that I would prefer to be away from the dogs. And I think that is a fair approach to have. Because you never know. Sometimes there are good pet owners. It's the same thing with cats. A lot of like carpenters and stuff. You have tour with them? Yeah, I get it. I won't ask you to go into that, but if you are comfortable sharing, you're more than welcome to. I won't stop that, as long as you don't violate any community guidelines. And I tell you what they are, except I keep forgetting to read through them properly. Alright. Cat is making lots of sense from top. Cat is making less sense from every other angle. But do I care? No. Never. This is just a warm-up exercise. But yeah. I think another reason why I like generally advise my content for like older people ideally. You love cats because they can't bite your entire hand? Yeah, true. And also when they bite, it's not particularly hard. But oh god, what was I saying? Oh yeah. I'm part of a creative writing major. And I'm in university, so our discussions that we have in class, which I like to bring up wherever I go, they also don't always end up being the most accessible to people. Not just in terms of, like, being graphic or anything like that, but, like, I wouldn't expect someone younger to have a really good idea of what magic realism is. You don't know, but you enjoy cats biting me? Interesting. I get that. I think it's... I enjoy that because, in a sense, it's sort of like they're trying to be violent, but also it's completely pathetic and they can't even breach the skin barrier most of the time. Yeah, it's cats for you. Okay. Don't mind this sort of leaning out this way. Yeah. So I'm not intending to go silent on purpose. I'm just trying to configure the cat. It's so goofy. No. Alright, alright. I feel like this is a fine enough base for building off. That head is giving lemur, but that's probably fine. That's probably fine. And like we can get like a what's it called? Not a beacon, but end rod. I get them confused. Don't mind me. Oh, I'm not used to the flying controls. Now it has teeth. It has teeth. Amazing, yay! I can see the beginnings of a cat in there. Really should have thought about more of the angle of where that swirl is. But I think... yeah, I think if I do that, it's probably fine. And that should add some dimension to it so it can be seen as a swirl from more angles as well. Same? Yeah. I don't even know what you're saying same to. There's so much delay on the stream. Like, if we just... because I'm watching on my phone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 14. So we've got about 14 seconds of delay there. And trying to remember what I said 14 seconds ago is quite difficult, for me, at least. Wait a minute, I don't have to give the cat ears, because not all cats have ears. I knew a deaf cat that didn't have ears. Alright. I'm going to work with wool this time. And I'm going to go, I think, for a sort of tuxedo cat type situation. But first I want to go like this. Establish the eyes of the cat. It's Minecraft, okay? I can't do all the details. I don't even know how I'd begin to convey, like, the sandpaper tongue of a cat. But then again, I don't have to do that. Give me a block. That is a step. And is dark. Perfect. That one will do. Not dark enough. Oh, it's not the right color. But I feel like that's fine, though. You know what I'm trying to say. Hopefully. Am I making it with skin? Yeah, I'm making it with skin. I do not know cat anatomy enough to confidently do it without, like, skin. Do that. You did make a skeleton dragon, now it's in a random world. I'm a shit builder, I can't do dragons. I can barely do a cat. It kind of looks like that black cat from Simpsons. Yeah, that checks out. I mean, so far it's barely got anything on it, but yeah, I see what you mean. Okay. Now I need this to descend into an almost triangular type shape. But only almost. Oh god. Oh, it's beginning to look freaky. Not in a good way either. It's suddenly a creature. Ooh. Excuse me? And we need a sort of chicken leg, like, thickening here. You know what? I think the worst thing about Dream, actually it's not the worst thing, there are definitely worse things about him, but it's that he got that stupid speedrunning song stuck in my head. That is the most insulting thing he did to me personally. Because now whenever I need to like focus on something, it is just in my head to do that. You know what? You can have little white socks. That's something that cats end up with. Whee! We'll get to that in a moment. The one where he's on the nether roof? I don't know. I just know that he uses that speedrun music when he's trying to, like, rush. And granted, it's a great song for that. I just hate that whenever I do it, I think of him. I think I would have liked it if I had discovered it naturally. What is this shape? I don't know. But it's beginning to terrify me. I know exactly what cats look like. Do not question me, and this cat will be fine. This cat might need to see a vet. Jesus. You don't think I remember it? That's fair. I don't know when he would have used it as like a soundbite either. It's the Dream speedrun music. Can't even remember what it's called. I feel bad for the original composer, like really bad. I mean, to be fair, he got that fame, and that's quite good. But that it's not able to be detached from Dream to anyone who knew Dream in that period. Eesh. I think I could stand to make this area a little longer. Best cat. Oh, I found a really good like tea drink to have, and it's like I have like a bottle of almond extract that I need to get through because I don't particularly like almonds. I also don't particularly like honey, and I don't particularly like oat milk. But if you put them all together with a like bag of just black tea, it tastes so good. I love making good tasting drinks, particularly given it's like iconic. I don't like honey. I can appreciate the taste of honey. I don't like it when people default to honey as a sweetener. And that's because honey has a very strong taste. So I have a kind of negative opinion of honey because of how many times I've like gone somewhere and they've added honey into something and it just didn't need to be there. It's too powerful. It runs the whole show like it's nobody's business. And it's why I prefer like just normal sugar. Just raw cane sugar particularly is good. Well, actually, no, the raw sugar has kind of more of a taste to it as well. That really processed fine white sugar, I really appreciate it's just like a default sweetener. Yeah, you sugar or that brown, yeah, that's the raw sugar. I actually really like raw sugar, like generally, because it's crunchy. But I prefer white sugar because it doesn't affect the actual taste as much, it just makes it sweeter. Whereas, like, brown sugar has a bit of molasses in it. The raw sugar it just doesn't sweeten it as much as the white sugar, which isn't inherently bad if you're trying to cut down on processed sugars. It's great. And I think it tastes nice if you want to preserve the natural bitterness of a coffee and to just make it a little more pleasant on the palate. When I talk about sweeteners, I talk about things that are like designed to be sweet, like the typical matcha latte, because matcha, when it is served more traditionally, but not always, as uzucha, I think. I'm pretty sure that's correct. It's just matcha, there is no sweetener. And that's very different to when you have matcha with milk, and people will often add a whole bunch of things. Sometimes it's honey. I think honey in matcha is disgusting, and I think anyone who likes it is a freak. Brown sugar in matcha is good, but the molasses in brown sugar does tend to disagree with it. Maple syrup, too strong of a taste. So I prefer just a normal raw sugar or refined white sugar for matcha. And people who default to honey for things like that are freaks. Honey isn't a team player on most occasions. Unless you're deliberately trying to do something with the honey flavor, your default sweetener shouldn't be honey. If you can't tell, I'm passionate about this, but I haven't, like, put in the hours of establishing a firm, like, this is why you shouldn't, blah blah blah. At the moment, it's opinion, but I reckon I could make a pretty decent call out. Also, a lot of honey is not sourced ethically. At least in, like, Australian supermarkets, there's this massive monopoly over quite a few companies. And it's quite shit how they treat the bees in the sort of bigger, like, manufacturers of honey. But then getting raw organic honey, if you don't have, like, a local, like, bee farm, it's quite expensive. You only use honey when you don't have sugar? Yeah. And I'm pretty much the same way. Actually, that's a lie. I just switched to a tea that doesn't need sugar. The only tea that I actively have with honey is, like, as a sweetener is, chai. Or variations of chai. You gonna go get some ingredients to make a tomato salad? Yeah. Yeah, I'll be streaming for a few more hours. Probably not too long today, but I'll be around. Doing Minecraft. The fun game. Alright, Reaper, you've done something peculiar there. What is the difference? Because I'm not that well versed on chai in general. When I do say chai, I do mean usually with cardamom, pepper, a few other things that I can't remember off the top of my head. Cloves, I think, usually go in there. But that's sort of like spiced black tea that has lots of variations. But yeah. I got much more into matcha and genmaicha and stuff like that because I have taste preference. The first one of how Romanians. Oh yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, because even in Japan, cha is tea. The CHA in matcha and genmaicha and hojicha, cha is tea. And I think that's the same as in China. I could be wrong though. And when people refer to chai as in typically Indian chai, I don't want to generalize that as just being Indian because I actually don't know where it originated from, but I see most people referring to an Indian chai, I think. Anyway, I'll have to research that later, but that's also just chai means tea. You did do some Japanese and you know how to count to 10 as well, in it as well. Very nice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I can do 10 as well. Not very well pronounced because it's been a hot minute. And I discovered at some point that I learnt it 2 ways. Yeah, you go now. I'm just going to keep talking about this. Where when I was like really little, with 1, 2, 3, 4. And then when we got a bit older, instead of saying itchy, it became itch. It was cut off. And when we learned the number 4, 4 is a really unlucky number. So they have yon, which I think in the Romaji is like Y-O-N, like yon. It's so fun. And having for a bit of context, I have a 20-year age gap between myself and my younger brother and younger sister, and we are half siblings. Their mother is Japanese, and so when I go over to their house, there's a few occasions where my little brother will bring a Japanese book to me, and I have to sort of guess what the words are. But I do try to say Japanese words when I'm reading the Japanese book, so he knows that that's the Japanese book. The issue is I don't know a lot of Japanese words and I don't know how to form sentences properly. So I'll usually just he has this one book that's about colors. So I just only show him the pages where I know the colors. This is Midori, Orange, Pink, Shiro, Kuro, Aoi, and Aka. Is it Aka or Aka? I can't remember. And that's Aoi is blue, Aka is red. I can't remember yellow. Kuro is black, Shiro is white. Green is Midori. And I remember that, yes, because of the alcohol. I don't drink alcohol, but I like to mix cocktails for other people. I think alcohol's gross. So I have this, I guess, not a manifesto, but I have this, sort of presiding goal when I mix drinks, which is to create an experience. Because I think if you have a drink and it is just to get drunk, or you have a drink and it's just to forget the moment, I don't think you've really experienced the drink. You might as well just drink straight vodka, which I think is a little bit sad. I think when you're having alcohol, there should be appreciation of it as a drink and as a product that someone has put time and effort into. Also, it's nice. It gives you something to talk about. Oh yeah, I had a French 75 and it was made better than this other French 75 I had. It was more memorable, or this drink was made by some bartender named Tony, and he did a fantastic job and I had a really great experience. That will always have more value to me than, oh yeah, I just got drunk with the boys. Age code preference. This is my abstract interpretation of Tobin's. And yes, this is definitely where the Tobins go. And this many as well. I want to go in the hardcore world. We almost have a full cat. What a world. God damn it. Do it to myself, I do. Nope, it's actually here that I want that to be. Then I need to go get rid of as much of this white as possible. Actually, that's probably fine. Yeah. I got a pocket full of sunshine. You know. I could probably thicken up those back legs, but also I can't be bothered. Cat. I'd say this is pretty impressive for someone who had no experience doing this, who randomly decided that they were going to start doing this. Like, my experience creating animals in, like, 3D animals in Minecraft, this is the portfolio. That's all that I have done. That cat is looking at me and it's so goofy. Let's get a screenshot of that, hopefully. Well, get the screenshot from here. From OBS. Kitty! Kitty. Ah. La 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 la. Don't mind me, I'm just putting a picture of this in the channel. Get. And actually, I'm gonna go get that rat as well. Because I don't think I did that. There we go. There we go, there's the rat as well. And I'm about to switch over into my hardcore world, so I think I might take just a slight little peeky peek at what's happening with everyone else. Cool. Epic. Peculiar. Okay. Time to switch to the hardcore world. And by hardcore, I mean it's set to hardcore. I'm no hardcore player. Unless it's with the ladies. There are so many to be deflowered. Ladies. There's prosperity and power. Whatever the lyrics. It's Hamilton, okay? Do I look like someone who knows all the lyrics to Hamilton? I'm cut out of paper. Okay. I'm not nervous about dying in my hardcore world. That's ridiculous. Why would I have anxiety about a block game? That would be ludicrous and strange and really weird. Anyway, let's do some fishing real quick. That's a good way to start, I reckon. I think I will go for 3 hours today. I could be wrong. Sometimes it's less. You never can predict these things. Because sometimes I'll be streaming and then suddenly I just want to stop and go to sleep. And then other times I get lost in the moment and then suddenly it's been 5 million years. And I'm like a sentient, ancient, mythological horse that people consult underneath a big mysterious tree to understand the facts of the universe so they can bend at their whim, only to have a moment of self-discovery in which they realize that they cannot possibly do that, and that they should try and appreciate the casual novelties of life and just be normal. And possibly they'll have some sort of vengeance against their father, because that's typically what people write about in terms of trying to establish what the meaning of life is. As a man, I'm a man, I'm going to look at my father as being the ideal husband, and therefore I must usurp him as the ultimate husband to the ultimate wife and mother who is my wife's mother. Where? Freud and Joseph Campbell. No one talks about him. They should. Fascinating guy. As I don't know much about his life, I've just been reading one of his books. And it's The Hero with 100 Faces, I'm gonna say it's called from memory. And it's basically exploring that idea of the hero's journey. And by exploring, I mean defining. He basically identified all the common traits across a bunch of mythological stories, and then connected that to Freud's Oedipus interpretation, or Oedipus. I actually don't know if it's Oedipus or Oedipus. I prefer Oedipus. But, yeah. Fun fact about me, but I'm not ancient Greek. Or even just casual Greek. Normal, current day Greek. So I wouldn't really know how to pronounce the conventions of the language. But then again, there are lots of words in the English, not alphabet. Well, that's a fair, thing to talk about if you're really into linguistics. I'm not super into linguistics, and I don't know what I'm talking about half the time. But, there's a fair amount of same word origin things but in Greek, in the English language. So, theoretically, I could... Ooh, that's a weird book. Figure out how to pronounce that word using similar spellings, or trying to identify the exact letter it would have been spelled in between the Greek alphabet and the current one that I use, the Latin one. How diverse this world is. You got a bunch of cows that all look the same, and a beautiful pen of horse and multicolored sheep. La da da da. I think I should get more andesite. I think I actually desperately need that. I'm just checking my chest, seeing what I have and what I need, and such and such, and such and such, and such and such. I swear to God I have a point when I open my mouth. I just forget it immediately. What am I wearing that's excusing me for not wearing... Oh, I would have gone to the nether, that's why. Or at least I would have briefly ducked my head in there and gone, there's the nether, and then left. That's something I would do. Oh no, it's because it's... Because it's enchanted, that's why. See, I'm smart. I know what I'm doing. Do. Put that saddle in there. Put the flour and organics chest. Of course, why would it be in there? But that, why not? Sure. That iron ore piece. This house is never going to get built. Not there. But here. And I must, of course, retrieve the lava. Whee! Kind of want to listen to vulgar and explicit music right now, like Bubblegum by Valeria. But I also don't want to get a second copyright thing. I played Architecture in Helsinki hold music at the beginning of stream just once, because I want to see if I'll get a strike for it on my thing. Both on YouTube and on Twitch. Also, I need to remember to upload my VODs to YouTube, because I'm moving my VOD archive to a different channel so I can make, like, actual videos on my, like, Arthurial channel instead of the Hole Punch archive. And if you're wondering what the Hole Punch deal is, don't. It's a long story, but I think Hole Punch is going to be something I affiliate with my brand more regular. I can speak, right? Like, that's something I'm capable of? Regular, with Lee on the end. Regularly. Yes. I'm not repeating that sentence, by the way. But yeah. What was I even saying? I won't even need to repeat the sentence, because I've forgotten what it was. Yes, I think andesite mining. Not right now, though. Doug. But it's in Minecraft, so it can't do jack shit to me. Oh yeah, I saw Tommy Unit has started a new Minecraft server called the Bit SMP. I have no interest in it. Every time, like, a new Minecraft server is created by that sort of group, I'm like, eh. Like, don't get me wrong, big fan of Tubbo, and will usually pay attention to what he's doing at least a little bit. But I haven't really gotten into the lore of a Minecraft server in a really long time. It becomes really difficult to follow because everyone's streaming on Twitch and you've got these, like, 5-hour VODs to review, and it's not like they're doing lore the whole time. And it feels really good in the moment, but then suddenly you're, like, trying to recap, and it's like, no, long. Where did all of my dye go? Anyway, that's probably fine and normal. Do I not have a weapons chest? That will be my weapons chest for now. Not for dirt. Just gotta put all those bows in here for now. Probably won't need them because I have the axe and stuff. I'm going to keep... Oh, I have a diamond pickaxe. I didn't even notice that. That did not register at all. Get some dirt. Don't need that fishing rod. That fishing rod does need to be repaired, though. Tools chest. I'll bring a second one. And, like, that as well. That can go in there. Sticks probably good to have. I won't need a lava bucket, but I might want to retrieve some water, possibly. What else do I do? What do I do when I play Minecraft and I go into the mines? And I do art torches. If I say things in a silly voice for long enough, where did I put those sticks? I just had the sticks. They're in my inventory still. God, I'm intelligent and amazing and iconic. You know, I just realized I don't really have any coal. Well, looks like we're going to be looking for coal as well. I know there's plenty around and through the mountain, but boy, can I not be fucked. I'm going to put this lava into a cauldron. Excuse me. And then I'm going to retrieve water. I know there's a thing there, but I don't know why I put it there, so I'm just not going to change it. What if it was important? What if past Arthur had like a point and was doing that for a reason? I do kind of need more food. But I also can't be bothered. I might get some bread. I have quite a bit of wheat. And I know that they're there for the cows, but I'm also growing a lot of wheat. Which reminds me I'll need to do some farming. Excuse me. Bread, 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 bread. Bread, 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 bread. Bread, 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 bread. I heard that, Doug. And I didn't appreciate your attitude. Ruff! Shouldn't be doing that. My mom's asleep just in the other room. That's why I have to be somewhat quieter, but not very. Just a little bit. Just like a hint of consideration for other people in the house, but not enough to, like, be thanked for it. Enough that it's not a concern. Bubblegum. Would it explode on your face? See what I mean? It's just stuck in my head now. Andesite, andesite. Is it andesite? I'm pretty sure it's andesite. Hey, I remember the name of things. My memory's fine. The other day my financial advisor came over and she was going on about how, she was saying that my mum and I have, like, dementia already. Which, you know, it runs in the family, but not like, I don't have dementia, I'm just silly. I just have bad memory. Ooh, coal. I did need that for torches. I remember why I do things, and I'm able to have long, consistent thoughts. See, my issue isn't, actually, no, I have long-term and short-term memory issues. Anyway, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. For now, I'm just trying to consistently stream on a schedule. It's not going well, but also, my life is chaotic and I can't predict anything about what will happen each day. And then when I can predict it, I have priorities. Like, for example, I will always choose to spend time with my baby siblings over a stream, over university even. I actually skipped class today to hang out with my little brother. So it's a very literal, like, I want to stream on this, ignore that, frequent schedule. But also, my job isn't to be reliable to you guys, my job is to be reliable to my family. Actually, that's also not my job. I just think babies are cute. My little brother can't say words yet. And so most of the time when he's communicating, it's a na. And it's possibly the most adorable thing any creature could do. He also just points to stuff. It's like... Whoa. Nah. No one knows what he's talking about. I mean, we have a good idea that he's gesturing that he wants something. You know he's happy when he's sort of clicking his tongue and he's going... I don't know if you can hear that, but I'm clicking my tongue. We were looking at birds today and he started doing it. It was pretty cute. But yeah. It's things like that babies are only in that period for a little bit of time, and then they become super annoying toddlers. So I'm just trying to appreciate it while it lasts. God, there's so much andesite. I'll be saying that, and then in like the next session I go mining, I'll be like, where's the andesite? I need it! Oh, how we use up the world's resources, and then complain about it, and then cause more harm than good. I love what we're doing to the place. I really enjoy the concept of people of really like mega entities or deities, like checking out different planets and being like, Welcome to Earth. Either this is the human population. Are you interested in them? Hell no, look what they've done to the planet. I want to be worshipped by cool aliens. Which is why I always like to say I'd be a great ambassador for the Earth, because I reckon I could really spin a good story for us. And then we can have some actually good overlords. I reckon I could do another warp farm just in here. Already planning to expand. Well, you're selling into production? Sure. You have a question? Shoot. When I read chat, how do I do it? I use my phone, so I'm playing this on my computer, obviously, and then I have my phone just to the left, and I just turn my head every now and again. And it's not like I have a super, like, chaotic chat either. Because I'm a small baby streamer. So it's not too hard to, like, keep up on what people are saying. Sometimes there's, like, a priority thing. Like, sometimes someone will say something, and it's not that I didn't read the message or I want to ignore it. I just don't have, like, a response to it. So sometimes I'll just read it, or sometimes I'll just return back to the point if it becomes relevant. I used Streamlabs to get the chat overlay. It was sort of like a... Sorry, just organizing my inventory a bit. But yeah, Streamlabs. Labs with a B. You can get an app for it, and some people stream directly from Streamlabs. I prefer to do it from OBS and then to have the browser source connected. Didn't like that hole. I want to flatten out this room now. Beep, 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 beep. Yeah. The desktop app I find is also a little bit fucking annoying, so I like to use it on the browser, like on the website. There's probably a proper term for that, but I'm not tech savvy, I'm just epic. Do I see it on my screen? No. I do not see chat on my screen whatsoever. I also don't see any of the overlay, or my avatar. That's all set up in Streamlabs on layers, like on an art program. At least that's how I've been using it, to everyone's horror, because I have like a million image files on like different screens. So they have multiple overlays. But I am trying to reduce the assets that I use. Like this one's a pretty plain background. And I just have chat in that bottom right corner because I don't want to obscure the screen. And I want to be able to read the text. People who just do straight text over their screen terrify me. I need it to have a box, or I need it to be on a very plain background. Yeah. Ooh, more coal. Working in a coal mine, going down, down. Working in a coal mine, oop, somebody did I should learn the lyrics to that song. It's from DEVO. But I'm still not convinced that it's Devo or Devo. Because no one said the word to me, and then I said the word and people made fun of me, and I decided I don't care, it wasn't a normalized pronunciation. What is a childhood song I would recommend? Anything by Architecture and Helsinki. Honestly, I put it in chat because I don't say the word particularly well. It's Devo, but I think that's dumb. Architecture in Helsinki, that politics is also pretty good. And also art vs. science. Especially, at the moment I've been really enjoying this song in particular, that politics. Why have I spelt that wrong? Particularly like this song at the moment. believe Dat Politics is French. Architecture in Helsinki and Art vs Science are both Australian. But I could be wrong about where Dat Politics is from. Because, again, I don't pay a lot of attention to things that happen around me. Unless strictly necessary. And what is necessary is anything I fixate on. So it's basically an endless cycle of I can't justify anything that I know. But yeah. I think it's called That Beep. Which is architecture. Nope, that's Archbishop. I could be wrong about that. I think, hold on, let me check something. Because in my head, Architecture in Helsinki and Dat Politics are sort of pretty similar in my head. As in, I know they're different, but I can't remember sometimes who does the song. I think That Beep might actually be Dat Politics. No, it's Architecture in Helsinki. I got it right. I'm so good. And then Box Sound, I think, is Dat Politics. Yes, it is. Shut up, YouTube. I did not ask for the full song. Box Sound. Dat Politics. For me, if it's old songs, you suggest songs from the Beatles, Elvis, Michael, and the dude that made Grenade Funk Down. Yeah. Those are classics. I'm also going to toss you a Mr. Bungle. I listened to a lot of the music my parents got into. And a lot of that came from the late 90s, 80s, sort of, like late 80s to late 90s, some 2000s stuff. I'd say it's pretty diverse what year the music I listened to came from. But I never really had the Elvis and Beatles experience because neither of my parents really liked them. King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizards, they're cool. I got into Blondie independently. And like One Way or Another by Blondie is also one of my favorite songs at the moment. And then I found out One Direction had a cover, and it just started auto-playing on YouTube. And I saw the music video, and they do this stupid dance, and it is so funny that sometimes I listen to the One Direction cover because I like to picture them doing that stupid dance. Most of your old knowledge of the classic songs are because of your dad? Yeah. For me, when it comes to classic songs, I actually associate it more with my mum, because my dad was always sort of more in the experimental music genre. I'm trying to remember what that song is called. I think it's called Watermelon Man, but that's also a favorite of my childhood. It's 99% Christian songs that are sang in church. I kind of fuck with that though. Depending on the type of church music it is. Because like, sometimes it sounds really cool. But for me, when it comes to church music, if it's not sung in a choir, I'm not interested. The 1% songs or songs you put, yeah. Oop, I still have my reconstruction dirt. But yeah, it's a funny little world of music. So much andesite. I'm not going to get rid of all of it because I like the structure of the mines to be having integrity. Sorry, I was just really struggling to get the words out there. It annoys you that most of the songs you listen to she calls them trash. The ones that you're listening to recently, you said they were more Asian broadly. Is she like particularly like? Does she think the Asian songs are shit? Because my mum's sort of the same way. She can't really take music that's in an Asian language specifically. She doesn't seem to be able to take it seriously. And I say that because she's recently gotten to Kneecap, and Kneecap sings a lot of their songs in Irish. I think Irish Gaelic, but I could be wrong. But yeah, because I like to listen to songs regardless of language, always have. But my mum's never been super into it, and I do feel like a lot of Japanese music in particular can sound a bit like it's like jaunty or from a show, which people particularly don't take seriously. Which I can understand. Sometimes I listen to Japanese music and I do just cringe. But not all the time. Although that being said, a lot of the Japanese music I've been listening to recently has been children's songs for my little brother and my sister. I have to keep remembering her because she was born last week. Don't mind me. Like, my brother, it's been like almost 2 years. Little sister, her name hasn't even been confirmed yet. You put in yellow, and she did like it, but she doesn't like that the songs are in like the style of rock. Oh, boo. Oh. If she's like hardcore Christian, it kind of makes sense. There's like a long history of Christianity having it like issues with rock and satanic worship in music, and it's always a bit ridiculous. So you don't need to take it too heavily or anything, and that's why we have things like Christian rock now. And even like outside of Christian rock music is a very like expressive genre. So I've never understood, well, I do understand why the church doesn't like it. It's scary when people are expressing themselves outside of a doctrine. I'm pretty sure I built this block, which is called granite. I knew that. I'll just get a little bit of granite. I'll probably need more. But I don't have a lot of durability on my pick. Pick being short for pickaxe. I don't know why I clarified that. I felt like it was obvious, but I felt like also in the moment that I should say that I'm just shortening pickaxe to pick. You like progressive rock, Child in Time, Deep Purple? Cool. Feel free to always like put these things in the Discord channel, because I have a space for music recommendations, because I like to know what people are listening to. I also like to spam it with music that I like. And there's no rule against reviewing other people's music taste. You can always review a song. I very much believe in that. And you can have conflicting opinions. You can't just, I prefer it if you didn't like your, I hate that song, and then move on. I like to hear reasoning. But that's because I'm biblically greedy for other people's perspectives on things. You'll spam it tomorrow with the songs you listen to? Yes, good. Oh, my pick. Well, I'm not doing it with my diamond one. And I didn't bring a crafting table despite saying I'd probably need wood. Actually, I don't think I said that out loud. Isn't the human brain so quirky? You'll give the child in time now since you do like it? Cool. It also means that I'll remember to do it, because otherwise I'll just forget. I'm pretty sure all the songs I put down are already in the music recommendations channel. Oop, those are skeletons. No, shut up. I'm ignoring you and you can't see me. You're shooting nothing. I see. I should have an arrow somewhere, at least one. I have a feather. Nope, no arrows, cool. No, I love that. Yeah, skeletons are annoying. They creep me out because they make a loud noise as well. I think I need about half of this. Actually, let's not risk that. What are the things I'm using? Polished andesite, light grey wool, packed mug, polished granite. Granite, yeah, okay. And I'm also using the andesite, a combination of it being raw for terraforming the pond. Oh, I'll need to get deep slate, won't I? And more mud. They gave them aimbot? Ew. Why? What assholes? Hate. Anyway. And then I can put the rest of this into polished andesite. And then there's walls. and then I'm learning the language from my brother. Whee. Cool. Packed mud. I should know how to make packed mud. I think I need wheat and dirt from memory. I actually have plenty of granite. It doesn't hurt to have spare. And I need to get more honeycomb. Work and effort. I think I need a new pair of shears. Like, I currently have a pair and it's falling apart. Yeesh. And I'll probably need more light grey wool. And I'm keeping that for the stock intake. Those are the colours I don't have. I don't have cyan, I don't have green. I could probably get green though, from the yellow and the blue ones. I just need to very strategically breed them. But the skeletons are out. And presumably other mobs. Alright, I'm going to start off by getting some wheat. $28. That gets us 14 breeds. Oh, Jesus, you're loud. Alright. Is it green? No, that appears to be blue. This is going to be fun. I think I've already fed you. You. Sure. You're blue enough. You're yellow enough. I give up. I can't separate them. I'm sure I'll get some new colors. Might get some pink in there. You're gonna go get. You're gonna get. I can speak. I can speak. I promise. You're going to eat now. That's cool. I may or may not be continuing to. I can speak. Sure. I have a presentation to do next week. I know it's. No. There we go. Don't you escape the pen. You're not allowed to do that. Get out of the way. Move over the fence. Get out of my way. Well, you can have a torch, that's fine. It's beginning to look like it's getting dark, which means I should be able to sleep. Sleep the night away. Nope, okay. Whee! Well, I don't think anything was born from that. Right. Copper. Actually, what is that? That's terracotta. Am I using terracotta in this at all? Why aren't I using terracotta in this? Terracotta is like a perfectly good thing for this. Also, let me look at the glazed terracotta. Is that from here or is that from the melty melt? The furnace. God, my language skills are great today. I feel really on the ball. I think I need multiple pieces of terracotta, I won't lie. I think that is the hidden part of this recipe that I have forgotten. Tea is so good. I drink it exclusively in the afternoon, but it's actually got a very, like, breakfasty flavor. It stops raining. You know what that means? That means farming and then fishing. Depending on how long farming takes. Because sometimes you farm and then you don't have a life anymore. And then sometimes you farm and that's all your life is, and then people start creating meat without you, as a cow farmer, really needing to exist. And then you feel sad because the world is evolving and your practices are forever behind, but also still valid and a very justified practice in the sense that there is a long culture and history behind it. And realistically, it will be very difficult for you to set up your life if your industry is replaced. La da 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 da. This might be a strange opinion to have about, because like there's not like a huge controversy about the like vegan meat industry, but there's like enough that people are discussing it. It's like a conversation people are beginning to have. Well, already beginning to have it, but they're having it more frequently because there have been like some lab meats making it to the market, I think, something like that. I can't think of any other reason why people would be making such a fuss about it, but it's this weird discussion to have because we're having it in the publishing industry, we're having it in the arts industry, where there are ways to manufacture everything. And I do think you lose some of the taste of a life when you have lab-grown meat. I don't love farming practices. I think they could be more, like, humane, technically. But, I think you will be able to tell the difference in the end between an organic steak and a mechanically produced one. I'm gonna plop that there. Or maybe I just, like, secretly desire to be, like, someone who eats humans. Cannibal, one might call. Not because it's, like, a natural form of substance, but, like, a lot of people who are cannibals, if it's not desperate survival, I'm talking, like, your Hannibal Lecter type. It's sort of like a collection. It comes with its own set of, like, self-gratifying rules, as per most serial killer habits. And when you grow up being aware of these things, it's not that I am or I really want to be, it's that it's normalized in my head as something that I could be, and it manifests like that in the way I write. I like writing disturbing shit and reading it. It's like, I can't even go back on where my imagination is now. You do like the taste of blood? I like the taste of my own blood. I don't particularly like the taste of other people's blood. It's the same as saliva. I find other people's saliva really gross, but I'm okay with the saliva in my own mouth. I'm weirdly, like, I'm not a germaphobe, that's too far, but I'm oddly sensitive about, like, sharing things like that, like sharing fluids. I find it occasionally quite gross. But, like, my blood tastes great. And, like, I've had, like, a blood sausage before. That also tastes fine. Not as good as fresh blood. My fresh blood in particular. But, you know. I'm not sure this is a conversation that Twitch wants me to be having. Because I feel like it could very easily lead into people, like, encouraging themselves to taste blood, which usually requires causing an injury to yourself, which Twitch doesn't like. So I'll make this very explicit. Please do not hurt yourself to taste your blood. Most people end up with a scratch at some point. You do not need to go around doing anything in particular to try. For me, I get my taste of blood most regularly through... Oh my god, I still can't pronounce that word properly. But, like, when I get a blood nose, it goes immediately into my mouth. I was not expecting this, course of topic. Cat. Oh, no, Coda! Coda, oh my god! I completely thought you were cat because I wasn't expecting anyone else to be dog in a chat. Hello. I'm playing Minecraft, but I'm not a normal person, so I talk about anything and everything with very little regard for what is normal. You could bring up most things and I'd be willing to discuss it, with some caveats per Twitch. Hello. How are you doing on this fine evening? I say evening, but it's like 2 AM for me, and who knows what time for you. I don't think it will spread there, I just want to see if it will. La 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 la, farming. Been lurking? You have to ban yourself from chatting or you lose all your time. It's almost 4 AM. How am I? I am going good. I'm tired, but also I didn't want to go to sleep. And I still kind of don't because I like playing Minecraft. But, yeah. I had a very physically active day. There was one point where I was like having to walk at a constant crouch through a really dark tunnel. And my little brother kept going back inside and I had to keep chasing him out. Ugh, babies. They have no regard for other people. Normally it's fine, you love chatting, but you're just grinding these wig commissions? Yeah, that's fair. No, they don't, yeah. But it's cute in a way. There's something really special about, like, when babies choose you for the first time, because they often go for the parents, but you really get a sense of your bond with a child when they begin to, like, view you as an adult they can get help from. Because to my little brother, there are sort of two types of human. Human that doesn't make sense, and human that does make sense. Human that read book, and human that react loudly. He's very cute. Yeah. And I mentioned it earlier, but you don't have this, like, that long with kids before they become, like, the ankle biters that they are known as. Because they go very quickly from very sweet, innocent, being annoying to they know. They know it's annoying and they don't care. Although, honestly, I don't think I'd mind. Because I feel like a lot of people who I talk to about having, like, younger siblings, they were quite young as well when they had their younger sibling. So there's this real sense of babies are really fucking annoying that I don't think I'll have as much because they're babies. And that really annoying phase, I've been through it, I understand it. And I'm old enough that I'm mature enough to appreciate that. And young enough that I'm not that far out of it. Yeah. Sweet age doesn't last long, but it's worth every second. Oh, come on. Let me sort that out. Yay! Yeah, that would make a difference for sure, yeah. I'm really thankful for, like, the privileges I have being raised in the way I was. Because there are some kids that I hate. And that's 15-year-olds on the bus who keep vaping. And that's because you're on a bus, and if you vape, it's, like, really inconsiderate to anyone with, like, a breathing problems, in particular, or people with sensory issues because they have quite a smell to them. And then just generally, they're often sharing it, so it's kind of gross. You're on a bus, don't share your vape on the bus. Ew. Oh, I could go into such a long spiel about people who vape. Like, at 15, of course, it's particularly bad. Like, you've got adults who do it, and it's like, you're an adult, I can't do anything about that. Then I see, like, a 14-year-old doing it, and it's like, oh, ooh. But yeah, because, like, anyone doing it, shit, but I don't respect adults who vape, but I also acknowledge that there isn't, like, they've been misinformed about it. I have to trust that as an adult, you've done some amount of research, you understand what vaping is, you understand e-cigarettes, and you understand that it's still an addiction, usually to, oh, what's wrong with me and why have I forgotten the tobacco? It's usually whichever drug is in tobacco is nicotine. Nicotine is the word I'm looking for. Usually adults know it's a nicotine addiction, even if it smells nice. And they might have the opinion that, oh, it's not as bad as smoking because smoking smells shit. Vapes still have that chemical smell. It's a different kind of shit. And it's often worse for their body. But if they're a well-respecting, like, self-respecting adult, they'll change. I mean, they'll have to get through the addiction process, of course. Like, it's an addiction. It's a very serious issue. Vapes. I'm very passionate about it. But, when you see the 15-year-olds doing it and how normalized it is, especially in Australia and in public, you don't have the authority to tell these kids what to do. You're not an adult. You can't have a one-on-one balanced conversation with them. They will look at you and they'll think, you're pardon my language, but you're a shit cunt. You're an adult. I don't trust you. You just want to be like, your life isn't infinite or untouchable. That can ruin your life. Stop, you'll regret it. Yeah, it's exactly that feeling. Because being in my early 20s, it's like, I have these feelings. I have this is a very adult response. This is I'm now a figure who could say something. But I'm also not that far off when I would have disregarded that from an adult. Like, when people come in and they're like, don't do drugs. I don't not do drugs because of those lectures. I think those lectures were dumb and cringe. And then I think, but they kind of had a point. They had a point. It was good that they did those. But it's a very difficult thing to navigate, getting through to kids who are like 15. Because I feel like a lot of 15-year-olds sort of think that they're, like, on top of the world. And that there's, like, it's either the top of the world or the end of the world. It's the same as 8-year-olds. Well, not the same, but 8-year-olds tend to have a very similar, like, you're cringe to anyone who's older than them. Unless they're, like, raised with an inherent idea that they respect people who are older. And that's not something you can guarantee or predict. Now, my dad, he is a teacher, so I've been able to spend time with his student groups. I've been on art excursions with 15-year-olds. And it's not like you can't get through to them. They'll always start off being sort of like, this is stupid, the curtains are just blue, it's not that deep. But then as you go through these art galleries with them, and you begin to open up the questions and investigate with them, they get into it. It's not hopeless. It's a context and a practice that comes into it. And I wish that there were more spaces for people who are adults to communicate with people who are younger without it immediately becoming creepy. Because, like, we have that on Discord and Twitch and stuff. I'm an adult. There are people who watch these streams who are not adults. I can't do much to enforce that. I can just say, yeah, I'd prefer to feel probably an adult, because I do talk about sensitive topics, and I can't guarantee that you have the maturity to handle them. But also, if you are younger, I don't mind you reaching out to me and asking questions. I am a question-first kind of person. But then aside from that, the same issue on Discord and Twitch is you get lots of people who are creeps. You get lots and lots of creeps. You get lots of abuse cases. You have the shit that's happening on Roblox. And it's sort of really difficult to balance this. Young people need adult role models. They need people who will teach them how to be mature and what that means. You cannot learn how to be an adult from learning from people who aren't adults. And that's also something I'm passionate about, while having the awareness that I'm probably not always the best person for it. But yeah, that's typically why I feel like, Cody, you came in, we were talking about the taste of blood. That's a conversation I'm perfectly happy to have, especially if it's brought up in a conversation. Like, it follows a question after question after question. And you get closer to ideas. And ideas are so important. And if you're able to articulate your ideas and discuss your ideas with other people, that is amazing and beautiful, and I want more people to do it. It makes me so sad when I see people just throwing their lives away and just going, I'm just going to do the most practical, this is going to get me money thing. Like, it's okay, you can just fuck around and find out without completely throwing away any sense of discovery you could achieve. What are we talking about now? I think we're talking about life. I've gotten very passionate about one. I would be a great motivational speaker in that I shouldn't talk to anyone directly, but I should whisper in the motivational speaker's ear. Not the first time. There was actually a period of my life in which I wasn't a class captain, but I sort of did all the class captain duties better than the class captain. But I was never particularly good at the whole, communicating part to a group of people. So I just got my opinions and all the things I wanted passed immediately. You've been in the position where kids, teens were looking at you for a role model and you were like, I want to help and be useful, be good with them, but also super not the right person for it at the time. Yeah. And it gets particularly complicated when you're looking at more niche groups, like in the queer community, people want older queer people to show them that it gets better and that you can have a role model who has experienced being queer. And that's really important that younger kids are able to see that you can be an adult and queer at the same time. But also, you're putting on this burden of representation to people, A, and B, that person might not actually be the best influence for you. It was exactly that, yeah. And yeah, you shouldn't be forced to open up on something just because you happen to be one thing and an adult. But also, that it's something you get to choose, I think that's important. But we need more resources and more people who we can be like, all right, don't talk to me about this, but here are some resources you can use. Those need to be normalized, and we need spaces where adults can safely talk to kids, where there are protections in place for things like actual grooming, not I'm queer, you're queer, let me help you, but legitimate grooming, and pedophilia and stuff like that. You need to have safeguards in place for that. There needs to be a sense of accountability for adults, because we don't live in an age where people won't abuse power online. But it's almost impossible to achieve. It's sort of like this never-ending shit spiral of we can't enforce that yet. We don't have the technology, and then all the technology we do have that could be developed to achieve it is regulated by a company. And when it's regulated by a company, then you're regulated by profit. And it's about money and numbers, and before you know it, people are being subjugated, and it goes nowhere. You were donating a binder to an LGBT group, and the kids were like, yay, young adult that's queer and proud. And you were just mid-crisis about your identity. You're like, yeah, be proud of your identity, just don't ask you because you're confused as fuck, yeah. It's very difficult to regulate something like that, yeah. Because I never had the experience of being groomed by someone older online. I never had the experience I've never been preyed upon by anyone. So I don't even know how kids are able to recognize the sign. And you have so many people who come forward years later, and by that point, even beyond online, there's always been an issue with the statute of limitations for these sorts of crimes. So it's I'm sorry, but we just can't prove it. Which sucks even more. Come on. Am I doing this right, or am I stupid? If possible, I'm stupid. Ooh, I don't want to annoy that bee. I got what I needed, yeah. It's really shit. And I think one of the huge issues with this is that it's not even, like, a local issue. Because if it was all just, like, happening within one country, you can have one country's regulations that can be efficient, because you can track down, that's blah blah, under our jurisdiction, we can do whatever. But the thing is, these things aren't just happening within one country or within one city like they might have before. This is, you can have someone who's in their 40s in a, like, My Little Pony server, for example, able to groom whoever they want from across the globe, and it's very difficult to get a punishment for that person. Oh, can't harvest honey and comb and honey at the same time. You know what, that's actually a really good thing. I should really be breeding those bees up and, like, trying to do the honey keeping properly, because I'll need it for the copper. I don't need the honey at all. I was just trying to be proactive. I'm a versatility kind of person. If I can do multiple things with one thing, I like it way more than something that does one thing really well. That jack of all trades business. But yeah. What was I doing? I've done my farming. I've done my mining. I've done my lava buckets. I did a little bit of fishing. I could do some more. I could probably plant some more seeds as well. Yes, I think I shall plant some more seeds. And then I shall do some fishing. Since when are we talking about honeycombs? Oh, I just went over to harvest the honeycomb. We move on between topic conversations so quick. You spent many hours making bee farms at one point. Something stuck? Yeah. I'll have to, like, test out the bee farms in my creative testing world. Because that's why it's there. It's to experiment with things like that. Do you eat them? In Minecraft, the honeycomb is, like, it preserves the different copper states, because it, hold on, I might be able to show you. So, the copper up there, that's orange, is, waxed, so it won't turn blue. The one next to it is also waxed in a state between it. I know you mean IRL, I'm just contextualizing, but, yeah, I've had honeycomb in real life as well. I quite like it. I don't always have access to it. It tends to be pretty pricey. Like, for a small square of it can go for about $11, and I don't always have $11 to spend on a brick of honeycomb, particularly seeing as I don't love honey. I'm farming, that's what I'm doing. God, I'm so on it today. But yeah, I do enjoy honeycomb. Typically, I prefer it to normal honey. Oh, you're a good builder. The texture built it so hard. I'm not a good builder. I just know that I can texture buildings. If you do, like, the !! Discord, I have a channel where I have put some of my other builds that I did. Because basically I've never put any effort into Minecraft building. And then I was like, I'm gonna do it. If that command doesn't work, by the way, let me know. Because it was working the other day, but I'm always very wary of it. And I might need to reset the Nightbot, which is what I used to do it. Worst case scenario, it's also linked to, like, my homepage and stuff. Because it doesn't look like it's coming. Where is it? Oh, I'll have to fix it later. That's annoying. But yeah. It should just be... Why isn't that working? Hold on. You don't know, but you used to be horrible at redstone? Yeah. It does not work, but yeah, there's a link in bio. Yep. So I've never done, like, builds, textured, 3D shapes or anything like that. And then I was like, I'm just going to start doing it. So you've joined at a point where I'm about to start an amazing journey. Get that starting point all set up and lovely. Did I bring my shovel? I did. Oh, I'm so clever and good at the game. But yeah, I know how to texture builds from Minecraft is like B-dubs and also Joel Smallish Beans, if you're aware of them. They're hermits. But they do lots of texture in their builds, and I went, that's sort of like painting, I can probably figure that out. And so I'm quite determined to sort of begin to texture builds. Yeah, you were going to say B-dubs, yeah. But yeah, because the thing is, they have a lot more experience on Minecraft and just collecting the resources. I don't. So I'm trying to collect these resources, and at the same time I'm thinking to myself, this is going to take 5 million years. This is going to take so long. But yeah, it gets faster as you go along, and I'm just hoping that I'll pick up on the experience relatively quick. I think that will do it. Part of why I need the wheat is not just because I like the look of a wheat like island, but it's also so I can make mud bricks and mud. And I want the mud because I'm terraforming this river area, sort of stealing the mud idea that's currently going on between Gemini, Tay, and Green Space at the moment. Their sort of lake area is all darkened with mud, and it looks really cool. I want a bit more fun in mine, so I'm sort of trying to curate depths by having like lighter blocks at the surface and then darker blocks down below. So I need lots of mud, both for that project and for my wall, and instead of doing it one at a time, I'm just sort of merging the collection process together. You can make gambling machines? Very nice. You must be thrilled about the new shelf blocks. Daytime. Farming. Yeah, I just remember watching people get really dramatic about the shelves. It was like, no, we don't want it to be this shape, we want it to be that shape. Oh, they're not sitting in the blocks correctly. And it was pretty funny to me. It's been a while since I've seen a community get so up in arms about something, and it's pretty normal for the Minecraft community, but still. Most of my early fandom introductions were anime. And I feel like on the English-speaking half of most fandoms anyway, they don't make much of an attempt to be like, oh, this author should do this instead. There's a degree of separation. Whereas I feel like in Minecraft, the community is pretty much able to say whatever they want. You love Hermitcraft so much? Yes. Your wheat reminds me of Green's current wheat meadows. That's the inspiration. I'm copying the hermits so hard right now. Yeah. Lurking? Hello, Era. I did see you were lurking earlier. Yes. Oh, do you watch the Life series as well? Not nearly as good building-wise, but great content, because that's coming out tonight. And that's kind of why I'm staying up. I can do my stream and then see who has posted their video already. The Life series is so good, yes. Do you have any predictions for the current series? If you've seen any episodes from tonight, don't let me know. Let me be spoiled on Twitter. That's where I take my spoilers. But, yeah. Rip Tango? Yeah. That was so funny. It's the way that his clip just ends so suddenly and then it's just his dog. I kind of lost it. I was just laughing to myself for a significant amount of time. And to anyone who lives in the house with me, it's a bit, sometimes people wonder what's wrong with me. You haven't seen any from tonight yet? Yeah. I've heard, Pearl, I think, just sighed when she was asked about the session, and Jem said the word hopeless. That is all I know. And that fills me with joys, because I like watching my favourite people suffer in a dramatic, low-stakes way. Should really get a water source somewhere around here. Not right now, though. That would be what someone practical would do. And I'm not that kind of person. You want the square hole to claim more victims? Me too. You want to say Gem or Pearl will be in the final? Yeah. I really want Gem to win. I'm somewhere between Gem or Etho, because there's like the double life pairings theory where it's like everyone from the pairings will eventually win. And I'm like, that's cool. I like that. But also I want Gem to win instead of Etho. Well, not instead of Etho. What would be really cool if we had like a finale between Gem and Etho, because they started off the series with that, if neither of us die in the episode, we'll do a duel. So it'd be really cool if they made it to the finale and they had this like epic final duel. That would be really cool. Or if they found some way to Hunger Games berries it. I don't know how that would be possible, but it would be fun. I reckon they'd find some sort of glitch. Because I feel like there are multiple glitches where you can't die. Like there's a way to glitch Minecraft in some way to do that. Yeah, you love me so too, yeah. You know what, this year I want it to be a Canadian. that's my prediction. Someone from Canada. Don't care who. You're gonna have a storm with the 70 to 80 mile per hour winds. Damn. I can't wait for storm season to hit Australia again. I love stormy weather. It's my favourite. There's this thing about Melbourne where they say that there should be, I think, 6 seasons? Or just more than the typical 4. And it's based off, like, a First Nations understanding. First Nations, like, Aboriginal, Indigenous people. If people are unfamiliar with what I mean when I say First Nations. But, their understanding of the seasons. And it's pretty good. So, at the moment, we're in this awkward phase where it's either quite moist and wet, or really hot. Well, not really hot, but like really like no clouds in the sky. Not very humid. And we've got the wattle trees out. And this is actually a really nice time of year. But it's not winter and it's not spring. That 6 kill Scar did was crazy. Like the 8 kills the Secret Society was awesome, but that 6 kill was so unexpected. Real. You love listening to Rain on the Roof? Yeah. I don't even lie, I also like that sound. I also like the sound of, like, thunder and stuff. And we have this thing in Australia called ScienceWorks. Actually, I don't know if it's Australia or Melbourne, but, they used to have this, I haven't been there in a while, they might still have it. They used to have this, like, exhibit where it was just in a constant state of storm. And I always had, like, a very big appreciation for that exhibit. Rain on an old corrugated iron roof in the middle of Aussie summer is one of the most peaceful things you have experienced. No, it's the most peaceful thing. Sorry, my words are bad. Is the most peaceful thing you have ever experienced. You swear to God. Yeah. That is such a specific experience, and I know exactly what you're talking about. It is well and truly amazing. There is just some things about Australia, like theoretically it could appear somewhere else, but there's something about it that's just homey and nostalgic, probably because I've lived in Australia my whole life, but like, you know what I mean? There's just something about Australia. You're all good, words are hard. Yeah. Yes, they are. Who invented those? Who went, yeah, we're going to speak with words. Don't answer that question, I know it's rhetorical. Sorry, for a moment there I was trying to tell if there was a fly in my room or if somebody was making an unfortunate noise. I don't have a conclusion. But oh well. Yeah. Because I think I was talking to my dad about it yesterday, but apparently, and he couldn't remember the information perfectly off the top of his head, but in a lot of like cultures where it's orally spoken, there's no concept of, I think, future or past. It's one of the two. I'm pretty sure it's that oral futures, like not like oral cultures don't have like a concept of future and then written ones do, or something about the past. Something about tense and whether or not your culture is oral or not. And it's really interesting. Like, I need to read up on it because I think it's really cool. You're going to head to bed in hopes of getting warm because damn it got cold suddenly? Real. You go enjoy yourself. Thank you so much for coming and talking in chat. You are always welcome here. I say that like some people aren't, but no, it's true. Everyone's welcome here. I'm going to continue to spiel. I don't know what I'll spiel about next. Planting. This is the most tame hardcore world ever, I swear to God. What else have I encountered recently? Aside from a lot of animals at the zoo. No worries, now you're in a Discord, you should be able to catch me live more often. Yeah. Cat, I know you're still here. I know you're still here. I can feel your presence, I know. I've connected. I've hacked your mind. Ah. That's a lie, by the way. I can't hack your mind. But for now, good night. Sleep well when you finish. Yeah. Yes, I shall. Actually, a while ago, I had a very cool experience of being a volunteer at an international sociology conference that was hosted in Melbourne. I didn't go anywhere fancy. And there was this Korean presenter who was showing us how they were using brain scans to track where people studied. Like, not just where you lived, but just, like, they could figure out the exact institution that you studied at using your brain scans by creating a generalized data set of what the different brains looked like from those different regions and their different schools. And I don't think anything has ever shook me quite as much as that presentation, because that was a few years ago now. But there was just something about it, and I went, you know what? If they scan my brain and they know my entire, educational history, I'm not sure I like that. I think that is scary. But it's also really cool, because I find, the things you can learn from a brain can get pretty fascinating, because no one fully understands it. So I reckon their research is probably pretty dodge. But if they can utilize the brain to find that information, it's terrifying and it's cool at the same time. And I like that feeling a little bit. I don't always like it. Sometimes I like it. Oh, humans. What are we even doing on this planet? Reaper, are you saying goodnight, Dakota, or are you saying goodnight as in you're going to bed? Just asking out of curiosity. Oh, mud. And yes, Kat, I did see your message about me knowing your mind. It's true. I've known you for so long. Funny how time flies. Routine, doing all the mud. I am having fun. Cannot remember anything that rhymes with mud. Mud, stud, as an earring stud. Bud, to bud and blossom. Thud, loud noise, big thud. Blub, nope, that's B. Dud, like a default, not default, sorry, it's effective. The dud. Lemon. Don't know why that's my example. Good night to the person who went to bed. Very nice. What else? Another example of bud would be like a rosebud, but of course I went for bud and blossom, that's a thing that everyone's going to catch. What else? Blood kind of rhymes with mud. You know who else made that connection? She who shall not be named. That's enough mudding it up. I'll do this section over here, actually. I'll just get this done. Whee. Taking a breather. Oh yeah, there was that thing that went down on Kick recently, where well, actually quite a few things have been happening on Kick, because Mr. Beast nut rhymes with mud. Not really, but sort of like it's close enough. You could use it if you're doing a song where you had a particular accent as well. But yeah, because Mr. Beast joined Kick and everyone was pretty much like folk wanting to be found in a kitchen. It makes sense. But there was a French streamer who like physically abused someone, and then that person died, I think, on the stream. That's crazy, by the way. Like, how fucked up as a person do you have to be to not just physically abuse someone, like for content? Because to my knowledge, why would you? But also to like stream it. Like, it's one thing to abuse someone, another thing to like actively profit from it and to continue to do it. Because people are all, oh, it's shock factor, and people respond to shock factor. It's not a good thing. Oh, it's a natural response to like respond to shock, because it's shocking. You're going to have a reaction. But it's not good to normalize making a profit from negative things, getting a negative reaction. Even if it's a positive reaction, you shouldn't be endorsing or like letting that fly. I apologize again for my words just jumping around in the way they are. Because if I listen to this back, I won't know what conversation I was having internally and externally at the same time either. Whee. Oh, yes, getting rid of all this seaweed. Nothing wrong with it, it's just kind of ugly. Stands out too much against my terraforming. Get out of here! Bloop, bloop, bloop. Yeah, something I'll probably have to do on the weekend, because I said I would, is, you know Lee, like, occasionally from, I think I got to know him via Anya, and then he also appears on, like, Love the Streams and was in my stream last time I streamed. I owe him a bounty. Unfortunately, not the chocolate kind. But, I sort of said, oh yeah, I'll draw any character. And then it occurred to me, oh yeah, I actually don't really do that ever. I don't really adapt, like, character designs. I did a bit for Artfight, but I'm not very good at, like, taking someone else's design and illustrations and making art of that same character. Because you have to do an amount of interpretation, and I'm not used to that. I do not have the bones in my body to do that. I know exactly what I'm doing when I, like, design my characters and give them different outfits and show a different side to them through a different, like, pose. That's all very internal. I know these characters like the back of my hand. And even when it's, like, a commercially, like, nothing character, like, what's a good example of this? Elmo. We'll go with Elmo. Elmo has a pretty, like, normal design. I don't know how to interpret Elmo's character design and make it into fan art. I have no idea. Interpreting other people's work is kind of difficult for me to do artistically. And, like, even imitating a writer's, like, pattern and their characters. It's a whole job. Because the way I express art and the way I express my writing is completely different. So even if I have a perfect understanding of a character, my writing style is inherently going to show a side of that character that isn't canon or isn't accepted. and you have to find a way to present that character in a way that is familiar to the fan base, or to the fan, but is also like your personal interpretation of the character. And Leaf picked a character from Deltarune. I don't know anything about Deltarune. I know that Toby Fox created it, I think. I think Deltarune specifically is a prequel to Undertale. I could be wrong about all of that. I know that they're connected in some way. But yeah, I don't know how to interpret this character at all, because I know nothing about the character, which means I have to research the character, then I have to figure out what the actual like outfit that character has is. Do I want to design the character as a human? Do I want to design the character as the pixel thing that they are in game? And I can't do pixel art. So automatically I'm smoothing out details and adding fabric and texture, because I'm a texture person. Which character? Ends in IE. I'm going to say Rosie or Susie or some name of that variety. I do not remember off the top of my head. I really should. You have seen that room perspective image from Deltarune, if I remember correctly? Oh, yes, I have. From Twitter, yeah. Toby Fox can't draw with perspective. Susie? Yeah, sure. That's a character. Why not? Sounds familiar. Saying that repeating a name is not going to recall anything, but yeah. I don't know anything about the story or the characters. Pretty sure she's a cool dinosaur. But yeah, do I draw her as a dinosaur or do I draw her as a human? It's hard. Interpreting things is difficult. Where? Somebody call a ambulance. Have I just begun to use my brain? It's possible that I have. Alright, time to go get a bucket full of sunshine, aka lava. Probably not that difficult. Whee! Welcome to the bread bank. We sell bread, roasted, toasted. I wish I knew that off by heart. It's probably one of my favorite memes. Shout out to people who know what I'm talking about. I might link it later in the Discord. I'm not sure though. Why are there dinosaurs in Deltarune? Sorry. What? Not that I know anything about it, but the only other character I know from Toby Fox's stuff with any amount of certainty that the character exists is there's the non-binary kid that people keep arguing over about the gender of, and Sans Undertale, who is shipped with Nagito. I'm struggling to see where a dinosaur fits in this conversation. Oh, no, never mind, it's fucking weird and Toby Fox. No, I should just know that already. I shouldn't even be questioning that. But questioning is important and fun, so I'm going to question it anyway. Why are there dinosaurs? It's from the same people who made Soup, I'm pretty sure, yeah. Why are you buying clothes at the soup store? I love that one. Oh, it's so good. I miss that kind of humor. You should play them maybe? Are you talking about Undertale or playing the clips? Because I don't want to play anything on my browser. On my browser? I can pronounce that word just fine. I love having a list. But, because I don't want to accidentally dox myself, I can't show any of that. Like YouTube and stuff. Actually, YouTube's technically fine, it's just if I accidentally open a new tab. Happens surprisingly often. Undertale Deltarune, they cost money, don't they? I'm happy to play them on stream, but my thing with Undertale is that if I play it, I want to have a proper audience. Not like a proper one. If I ever start averaging out having like 10 unique viewers per stream, I might play Undertale. If there's like an active interest in whatever of a community I'm able to curate. Because otherwise, I'm spending money on a game I may or may not like. Because there's lots of cool stuff that I've heard about Undertale. I know that there are different, like, endings, I'm pretty sure, or something like that. But, so I've always been sort of mildly fascinated by it. But I feel like I wouldn't want to play it in a way that feels like I'm playing it on my own. If that makes sense. Saving that for the content. Also, yes, I'm running circles around my house aimlessly. Don't judge. I've run out of my tea. It's a problem. And there are no green sheep. And there is no cactus in my immediate vicinity. And I mean that. I mean, I've looked. You've never played it, but you know people. Yeah. You think the first 2 chapters of Deltarune are free? Yeah, probably. I wonder if it's better to start with Deltarune or Undertale, because I'm pretty sure Deltarune is a prequel, but do you do it by release order or by chronological, like, lore order? Because when I think about my writing in As You Should is technically smack bam in the middle of this longer story that I want to tell. It's supposed to be the core and the most important part. I wouldn't want you to read it, like, sequentially in the middle. I'd want you to read it first. But if you were someone who was like, you gotta play it in the exact order of the timeline, you won't have a fun time. But, yeah, it would be in the middle. Which means it would take longer for the themes to be established as they are. I love writing. And I love thinking about writing decisions. And I like going around in circles around this house. Whee! What I'm actually waiting for is to make more of those, not that. More of these is what I'm looking for. Because I'm using those as like the foundations of my house. If you hadn't noticed. Because I completely forgot I was doing that, to be honest. And then I was running around and I was like, hey, I still have bits of dirt in here. Because I only did the outer rim. Sail away, sail away, sail away. You know, the other thing is, even if I do play the game, I would want to make sure it runs at least decently smooth. You may recall the Date Everything stream. It was not easy. Because it was running technically fine on my end, but it looked pretty shit. It was not easy. What was easy for me? But it was really laggy. Is my point. I'm sure that Minecraft works, to be honest. Probably doesn't work particularly well, but I don't see it, like, lagging hugely, and if it does lag, it's probably on my end, and I can see it happen. But yeah. Brick. And refill that lava bucket. Date Everything wasn't as bad as you thought, but I also had to, like, absolutely crush the quality of the game. It was really unpleasant to look at. Because I played a little bit of it off-stream with my financial advisor. And it looked so much nicer when it wasn't in, like, the lowest possible frame rate with the lowest possible graphics quality. Undertale is not a graphics-heavy game, so it should be fine. Yeah, but I feel like you just want me to play Undertale. I feel like you're giving a biased review. No. Like, genuinely, it's like one of those things where it's like, I feel like I'll enjoy Undertale more when I have more people watching me play it. Because I'm not personally invested. But if other people are invested, I can invest in it. La 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 la. On and On by Jack White. Or The White Stripes. Or one of his bands. Sorry. I was just trying to remember a song that I had stuck in my head. Yes, that's correct. I should really set up more furnaces. Waiting for this one furnace is really impractical. Unfortunately, I don't care enough to change it, I'm just going to whine about it. Not even whining, I'm just making an observation and doing nothing about it. But it's fun to do that, so I don't care. Hey, I changed the Minecraft thing so it plays music constantly, if you couldn't tell. Because last time I felt like it wasn't playing music enough. And it was just kind of randomly coming in and out. That's one thing about Undertale that I actually am interested in, or like I'm excited for, and that's music. The Undertale songs are apparently are really good. I mean, I've heard some of them. I already know some of the songs, and I already like the songs. You don't really care for it in any special way, just saying that if your PC can't handle Undertale, but it can handle Minecraft, it would be weird. Look, knowing my computer, it's possible. Not even just comparing to everything, my computer is just a strange thing. But it also plays Sims 4 just fine. I'm not sure how it plays on stream, but it works very well for me on my end. I'm beginning to feel the 230. But yeah. I need to stream. I'm going to say at least 3 times a week is going to be my streaming quota, even if it's not on the specific days that I say. I will say 2 to 3 times. 2 nighttime streams, and then maybe some daytime streams. Because I potentially have Mondays available. Not sure what time that is for you, but just a midday Monday stream type situation. It's very possible. But as something I'll start doing. I should do some fishing before I stop playing for the day. I cannot wait to crash into my bed. No, first I can't wait to check the live series. Then I can't wait to go to bed. Priorities. Or priorities. No one says that. I just thought I'd be special and unique and amazing and dazzling and original and cool and epic and a master of all things. Or at least somewhat competent at most things. Not numbers though, because they make me cry. Whee! No, I cannot mine that with my hand. Sorry, Diamond Pickaxe. I must commit a sin. Not really a sin. It does feel weird to do though. Whee! Oh, almost no dirt in the house. This is like the first time in a long time there's actually been any sort of renovations made to this house. Very nice. Still haven't thought about how I'm going to do a roof for this place. I could do a full plan on Sims 4 and begin to, like, sort of plan it out. I'm not confident in that idea. Do you think you made your, what word are you trying to use, Reaper? You might have spelled it right and I might be dumb. Because I'm thinking, oh, schedule. Right, gotcha. I know what you're talking about, don't worry. What are you thinking your schedule for streaming will be? Because I promise you, whatever you start with doing, however you start, it will probably change. Because life, it doesn't like to stay still. Shit happens, man. Say that with the wisdom of someone who's seen horrible, horrible things, but it's just kind of mildly inconvenient moments of life. But it is much easier to complain about petty things than it is to complain about things with actual consequences. So, will you leave a dirt block as commemoration in the house? Well, I didn't, but I can. I could probably... There. Commemorative dirt block. You think 5 days a week in the morning for about 5.5 hours? Not weekends though? Reaper, that's crazy! That's crazy, 5 days a week in the morning for about 5.5 hours. That relies on you to have a very good, like... What's the word? I'm so sorry, guys. My words are shit. Today, in particular. Stamina. Streaming stamina. Lobster has, like, built up quite a good, like, get in the zone, stream for 2 to 4 hours routine. I don't know how he does it, honestly. But, like, he's taking more breaks now. I don't know why. But, that's crazy as, like, a beginner schedule. He does, like, 2 to 4 hours. He just gets into the zone of whatever he's doing, if he's able to do that. Like, when he's in a call with people, he can stay in a conversation. It'll be a longer stream. But usually it's his art that keeps him engaged with what he's doing. So he can stay there for that long. When you're doing, like, 5.5 hours of streaming every day in the morning, I heavily advise against that. Regardless of what you're doing, that's not a particularly healthy thing to do. Not that you wouldn't be, like, doing other things to balance your day, but, like, that's a significant third or quarter of, like, your waking hours during the day. And that's bound to affect your body. You wake up at 5, 6 in the morning and then go on your PC at about 7 in the morning? Yeah. But streaming can be quite strenuous because you're not just playing the game, you're also trying to engage with chat and to some degree trying to be entertaining. It's a usual thing for you. But are you also usually trying to, like, maintain a stream? Because sometimes you get bots, and the bots are fucking annoying. And then if you do want to begin to, like, curate a following, if someone comes into a stream and it's completely dead silent, at least in my opinion, when I, like, go to people who are streaming for the first time, it's not that they need to be actively talking, I just want signs of life. That's my thing. I'm not a no-micer, I am a yapper. Blah blah blah. I should cook some meat. I want some pork on my fork, but the pork's not pork, it's cow. Ow. Owie. Ow. 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 You were asleep when the bots appeared in chat today? Yeah, we had, I think, 2 chats. Chat bots, or whatever they are. I don't mind the bots per se, because it's not like they, like, immediately corrupt things. But also it's like, sure. It's fun though. You can't yap without people, you'll just become more insane. I have some bad news for you, Reaper. If you want to stream, you're gonna have to get very good at talking to no one. I'm very lucky that you guys are, like, more active than most starting streamers. Like, I've not streamed for, like, a particularly long time. Most people who have been streaming for as long as I have, maybe, like, a few chat messages. And so they have to learn how to talk to themselves. Lobster went through that. Lobster had a while where he was just talking to himself in his room. But I do believe Lobster and I are similar in that we just did that anyway. It was just already happening. Streaming is great for people who, have problems. Undefined, unmedicated, quite interesting, actually, problems. Put the meat in there. Yeah. Also, don't fear becoming insane. It's quite fun. You know? You know what? I should probably move this over there. Okay. How do I want to do you? I'll go over here. These blocks ultimately end up being hidden. So this would be the first floor. Ow. My legs are broken. My phone's turned off because it's under 50%, which is probably, I mean, my battery's lasted longer than usual. I don't know, I would assume those books would make me self-conscious. I mean, that's why they're written that way. Both of you don't talk because your brother is usually in the room and your foster colleagues followed you and they usually make fun of you. When you talk in English, since your brother talks only in English with his friends and 50% of the time with you. Yeah, that's a problem. Look, Reaper, there's no rush for you to stream. That does sound like streaming for 5 hours every day in that situation. I really advise even less. But yeah. Oh yeah, but Kat, you're also just kind of a self-conscious person, no offense. I can take quite a few hits from things that aren't personal. Like bots. They ain't real, sweetie. 1, 2, 3. I didn't count how many blocks up it was before, but it's fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I didn't count how many up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I didn't bring a water bucket. That was smart of me. Don't die, I guess. The immediate follow-up fall really solidified that. Very nice. If I go on the more recent stream, you think I'll hear him? I'll try and catch it live next time. I'm not a huge VOD watcher unless it's Tubbo, but that's different. That's Tubbo. I don't even watch his VODs particularly often. I used to when I was younger. However old I was. Jesus. There. I would just sit and watch Tubbo's VODs back. It was quite fun. But now I don't have as much appreciation for watching really, really long videos. If there's a timestamp, I'll find it. But I don't love the idea of sitting down and trying to watch an entire 5-hour VOD to find one specific moment. Okay. 6 plus 6 is 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Guys, it's possible I'll die doing this. You have a small question? Go ahead. I'm just gonna get up. You don't know how big streamers make their VODs at the beginning have the just chatting tag and later the name tag? You can just change that on OBS. You can set up what your tag is and you can change it at any point during the stream. They have that just chatting thing at the beginning because they spend a longer time waiting for people to get in. They have the bigger audience that they're waiting to arrive. You probably don't need to worry about having a just chatting period first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. But if you're really concerned, yeah, you can literally just, multiple tags? I don't know about that specifically. I think that automatically happens if you have multiple stream categories. When you go to the VOD, it just does that. And no, I'm not doing a water bucket clutch. We've established that I'm quite the coward. Whee! I have to redo my lights. There. You can just have, I have multiple tags under my stream, but that's different to streaming category, which is what I think you're talking about. Yippee, torches. Very nice. Why do I do things in this way? I've gone for the least practical way of building a frame. Anyway, I reckon this area can be a shorter roof. That's not a double story there. And then I can have something built out in that direction. Yeah, it should be automatic. Today you only played Hollow Knight and Terraria? Terraria. Or Terraria. I don't even know how to pronounce it. Alright, well, that's the sun going down. But it only shows the Hollow Knight tag? I don't know. Maybe sometimes it doesn't update. There have been a few times where I've tried to change my streaming category and it just hasn't worked. That happens on occasion. But I don't know. I can't guarantee that that's the issue. You'll watch more YouTube about it? Good idea. And speaking of watching YouTube, I'll just go to bed when I come back. Where am I? Where am I? What's happening? There we are. Good. Just checking all my audio is not going to murder me in my sleep. It is time to find someone to raid. Might stream, I might raid, Ram, the ramen bucket. Same as Lobster that earlier. Can I say words? What's wrong with me tonight? You can suggest, but I probably won't take the suggestion prior to knowing the streamer. I'm happy to, you can drop them in the promoting other people's channel on the Discord. I'll look into them, and if I fuck with them, I'll raid them next time. But I don't want to, accidentally raid into someone who I vehemently disagree with on a personal level. But yeah. You're going to sleep? Okay, good night, Geo. But yes, thank you everyone for coming. Should probably start the raid. That's the thing people do. You're hearing me 4 times? That shouldn't be happening. I don't know why. It is happening. You can't focus? Let's see if I can figure out why that's happening. I only have the main mic playing, so there shouldn't be any sort of Yeah, I think that might be on your end. I could be wrong. Okay, yeah, that's just Reaper's problem. Alright, we're going to the ramen bucket. Oh, fuck, my back hurts. Oh, my back hurts from carrying the stream. No. Guys, I'm sick of words. I can't do this anymore. No, I'm fine. We're going to go raid. But yes, quite sincerely, thank you all for coming. I'm getting closer and closer to affiliate, and you guys coming in and watching really helps. What was I saying? I don't even know. Words. But yeah, lovely to have you all here and to have you all in chat and such. I should quit Minecraft. Hold on. Slight delay, everyone. Quitting Minecraft so that the music's not in my ears. And we're going to go raid the ramen bucket now.